So I read 5 books for the month of March, and I'm going to share with you the books that I read. I've honestly been reading pretty slow for my average this year of 2025. Last year, I had a goal of 60 books? 52 books, sorry. 52 books, which is much just one book a week. I actually hit that goal in June. So then I upped my goal to 100 books for last year. Now, I ended up not making that goal. However, when I made my goal for this year, 2025, I was like, okay, well, I can make it 100 books because there's a good chance that I'm going to hit my goal again in June, halfway through the year, if I make it any less. So I did that, and now I'm on the opposite end of the book reading spectrum. I am pretty much reading just slow. Very slow. I also think it's not because I'm not prioritizing reading like I did at the beginning of last year. So I am going to make some changes to that, just because there are books that I want to get to, and then there's new books that are coming out that I want to get to, but I can't get to the books if I don't finish the current books that I have. That's just how I feel. So I need to get to those books. But enough about what I'm going to read next. Let's talk about what I read for this past month. So total for the year, I've read 15 books in the first 3 months, and that's about 5 books on average a month. I actually read 1 book physically, and then the rest I read on my Kindle. So I do have book stats. I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can see what my stats are, and we're going to kind of talk through them. So like I said, a total of 5 books that I read this month. I read 1,358 pages. I had 3 4 stars, 1 2 star, and 1 3 star for the month. Genre wise, I read 2 cozy fantasies, 1 romance novella, and then 2 romances. There were 3 books that were mood reads, and then 2 books that were on my TBR for the month. 4 books, like I said, were read digitally. 1 book was read physically, but it was actually from the library. I do not own this book. Reflecting that 4 books were on my Kindle Unlimited, and then 1 book was borrowed, which technically they're all borrowed, because even when you get books on Kindle Unlimited, you're borrowing them. You don't get to keep them unless you actually buy them. We're actually going to start with my book club book of the month. If you don't know, I have a book club called Coley's Cozy Corner, where we read about Black women being loved on, and this book definitely falls in that category 100%. It was called Hot for the Teacher by Monique Fisher. So I haven't read anything by this author. However, she's one of the authors that is going to Black Romance Book Fest, and I want to read as many authors as I can that are going to Black Romance Book Fest. Black Romance Book Fest is in June. Well, technically it's May and June. It's literally May 31st through June 1st or June 2nd. And it is in Atlanta this year. I'm saying this year, but this is the first year that Black Romance Book Fest has existed. And I'm so excited to be able to get tickets and go to the first one. This festival was started by Lauren Lacey, who is also a Black romance author, which I think is pretty cool. I've never thought about like how these book festivals were created, but I think it's awesome that an author actually started it and that she's the one like putting it together. I also think that's going to give it a kind of a leg up, and it's going to be a very well executed event. So I'm very excited about it to see what it is going to be, what it's all about. It is a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I said, it is in Atlanta, so I'm so excited about that. But anyway, talking about Black romance and Black women being loved on, like I said, that is the theme of my book club. So we pick books, all of them are Black romance, and they have a woman Black like main character. So this book we picked a little late in the month. That was my fault, because I didn't get into putting the books in for the club to vote, but I basically picked shorter books this time because, like I said, I was a little late getting the votes up. So all of the books that I picked were 250 pages or less, and the book that won was Hot for the Teacher. So I did read this on my Kindle. I mixed between my actual Kindle and then the Kindle app on my phone, because there was a week there where I kept forgetting my Kindle at home, which was horrible, but I always have the Kindle app on my phone, so I use that as well. This book was about a woman who she was divorced, and she has a son, and like they have shared custody. So the son still goes to see his father and all of that. but he doesn't have a great relationship with his father, and neither does the father have a great relationship with the mother, but they make it work in co-parenting. Now, she is not necessarily getting back into dating. She decides that she kind of just wants a one-night stand. And so her sister really like pushes her out there to go and meet a guy and just kind of go for a one night stand type situation. And she ends up meeting a really handsome guy at a bar, and they end up having that one night stand. Now, fast forwarding literally to like, I think in the book it's like maybe a couple days, but as you can tell from the title, the man that she meets is actually the teacher of her son. So that puts them into a very weird situation. Like great, like especially since it's like a one night stand, you're supposed to never see this person again. We're never going back. And then they kind of get thrown into each other's lives. So I thought that was really cute way of like the story. This is also a he falls first story, which I did not know. If you don't know about that trope, it's just basically the guy falls for the woman first, and I just thought that was really cute. This was so corny but executed in the best way, and it was everything that I needed at the moment. I really enjoyed this read. I'm happy that it was picked for the book club, but overall, I'm happy that I read it, period, because I really enjoyed the read. So I actually rated this book 4 stars. So it was one of the 4 stars for the month. Like I said, a really quick read. This one was only 235 pages, and just romance was the genre. Actually, this one was a 3 star. This one was a 3 star. I think I took off, I think on my actual story graph, I gave it like 3.5, but within my actual tracker, I don't have like the 0.5 ratings. Next, I'm going to talk about the one physical book that I read, and I actually got this from the library. I love going to the library, by the way, finding new books or like picking up new releases. This is actually a new release. It came out in February 2025, The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. This is a internet connected standalone. It's the 3rd one. I think it's the 3rd and final, because the interconnectedness of the books are sisters. There are 3 sisters, and each of them find their love in the book. So as soon as you go into the book, you know you're going to have a happy ending. Christina Forrest literally says that in the beginning of the book, like in the content warnings. But she also says in the content warnings, or the trigger warnings, that she talks about grief in this book. So that is because the main female character, Iris, actually lost her husband, and you find this out like previously in the other books, and I think it says it on the back as well, that yep, she is a widow and a single mother. So we deal with a little bit of grief in this book, but not so much that it drags down the book and makes it super emotional. Like, it was very surface level, but she does talk about that type of grief. And then on the other side, the main male character, his name is Angel, he's dealing with some family issues and his family not really giving him the support he needs. And so that is also, I feel like that's also a trigger warning as well, especially if you are in a family and you've had that happen to you where you don't feel supported by the people that are closest to you. That is very prevalent in this book. I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book a 4 stars. This was a really good read, but I enjoyed all 3 of these books by Christina Forrest. The first one was Neighbor Favor. The second one was The Partner Plot. And this is the last one, and this is the oldest sister. So I also like how she put together the sisters and like what order she put the books in. So I really enjoyed that. This book has like a little bit of music in it, which is really fun. Sometimes, like, well, not sometimes, when I first went into reading the book, I was wondering how she was going to incorporate the music part, but like she pretty much just like does the lyrics and like in the book, and like reads out the lyrics. So you know, it's not like you're reading, oh, it's to the tune of something. Like, no, it's just like, it's an R&B jam, it's slow, it's fast, it's this and that, and then like the lyrics are given, which was really nice. Like, I thought that was really cute, the musical aspect of the book. Overall, I definitely would recommend this if you love a cute, fluffy romance, if you want a nice, happy ending, and just it's a pretty mellow book, very mellow, very chill. Next book I read was my romance novella. This was literally just something that popped up on my Kindle. So if you don't know, when you're in the Kindle, when you're reading books, it gives you these little recommends at like the bottom. Not really the bottom, but like underneath your like library and the books that you have like to read next. And then sometimes they're like right on track with what you read. Sometimes they're completely different. Sometimes it's like on track with something you read a week ago. But in this case, I think it was really random. I think I clicked a couple times and then it was one of the suggested books. So it was called Call Me Daddy. Call Him Daddy by Katie A. Perez. So originally I was looking for a Black romance novella, and I think I just clicked the novella button and then I found this story. So I read the synopsis and that's why I decided to read it. So basically in the synopsis, it's literally short and sweet. A woman, and actually this book is more like, well, I don't want to say main character focused, but it starts off male main character focused, but it starts off with the male main character. And basically he's at his engagement party and his friend is telling him like, you got to get out of this, man, like this girl is tricking you. And he gets mad at his friend because he's like, you're not my friend, like why would you say she's tricking me? And then he gets all up in his head and then he finds out the truth. So that's all I'll say, because it's just a novella and you get like, that's it, like it's just a cute little short sweet novella. That's it. I definitely would label this one erotica, maybe. It was a little spicy. I don't know what the levels of erotica are, but the way I track it on my tracker is I track them as, well, this one was a novella, but I also have another category called epic romance is how I track it. So this one was more of an epic romance. So the spice level was definitely up there. I would say 4.5, 5 out of 5 for the spice. So know that going in, but it's also very short. It was only 84 pages. And like I said, I literally was like, ran down a rabbit hole and I got to this and I read the little synopsis and I was like, I'm gonna read this. And I read it. And it hit the spot for what it was. So, but it was just a little novella. So I rated this one 2 stars. It wasn't bad. It was a little corny. And there were a couple of moments where I just thought some parts could have been done better. But I would only recommend this book for someone who reads epic romances. That's the only way I'm recommending this book to you. So that's it. The last 2 books that I read were interconnected standalones. And the first one is called I Accidentally Summoned a Demon Boyfriend. I've been seeing this book on my Kindle suggested for a while, like I think like months, and it just keeps coming up. So I finally read it. I was on vacation at the beginning of this month and I read 3 of these books, these 2 I'm about to talk about, and then the novella, and then I started another book. I read these 2 on vacation, so super quick reads and I enjoy them. Both of them 4 stars. These are cozy fantasies. Cozy fantasy is becoming one of my favorite genres to read. They're so fun. I love fantasies because you go into another world. There's magic, there's adventure, sometimes there's love. Like that's why I love fantasies. But cozy fantasies are just fun. They take all the things of a fantasy and then just make you laugh at the same time. They're just fun. So this one, I Accidentally Summoned a Demon Boyfriend. A girl, she feels like she's down on her luck in love. She can't find a good date. She's having bad date after bad date after bad date. And she gets home one night, she drinks a bottle of wine and she has a book, and in like a novel that she's been reading, a fiction novel, and she decides to read the spell in the book. So in the fiction novel, it's basically a woman who uses a love spell, or a love summoning, right? So the main female character, so she uses the spell and then it summons the guy, and she's like, she thinks she's dreaming and she's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, let's go sleep together. And she sleeps with him, and then the next day she wakes up and he's still there and she's like, what did I just do? So it's funny because it's just like, she doesn't believe it until like something extreme happens. But then like you kind of go on an adventure with them where they figure out their life, because he's like, well, I'm a demon and I don't want you to have to be a part of this life. And she also doesn't want to be a part of this life. So they have to figure that out. So anyway, cozy fantasy is so much fun. The next book was Oh, I accidentally hooked up with a vampire. I love that. I love that. So in this book, the woman, she thinks she's going, like literally first chapter, she's going in, no, I'm not going to tell you that part. I'm going to tell you actually what happens in like the second and the third chapter. She goes to a party, and the party is at an art gallery, and then the person who owns the art gallery, she's never met this person. She doesn't even know who this person is, this guy, but she's there at the art gallery. She's kind of feeling down on herself, down on her luck. And then she meets this guy. Now, like I said, she doesn't know he's the owner of the gallery, but she kind of figures it out because he takes her away from the party because he can tell that she's sad. So he takes her away from the party. They have a really good night together. They do hook up within the first couple, within the first couple chapters of the book. I think it's like the third chapter. They and in this instant of the party's like right in the beginning of the book. They end up hooking up, and she's like, she really likes him and he likes her, and so he keeps like coming back to her and like trying to talk to her and have a relationship with her. And she thinks it's kind of odd that it's like was very quick that he's like into her, but she goes with it, and then she finds out his secret, that he's a vampire. And while she finds this out, she's reaching out to her friends because she's freaking out. And then she finds out her friends know a little bit more than what they've let on about the world, the supernatural world. That was so fun. Oh my God, I loved that book. Like, just her friends being there for her. Like, usually it's kind of the opposite, right? Like, you go to your friends and you tell them this ridiculous story and they don't believe you. She goes to her friends, and now her friends, it's complete opposite. They know something about this. So that was fun too, a different aspect of the story. I feel like I enjoy mostly like books that start out as one thing, something that I know, right? Like a vampire falls in love with girl, and then it changes to something else and you get like another aspect of a story. I love that. I love that. And that's really what attracted me to like keep reading this book. So 4 stars, I recommend it. I recommend cozy fantasy to you. If you love like gushy, happy ending romances, but you also love fantasy, read a cozy fantasy. There's so many out there. These ones are just like the ones that I read this month, but I feel like cozy fantasy is something that I'm going to read every single month. Every single month I'm going to read at least one because I just love them so much. I eat them up. They're so fun. I did not add it. I finished another book. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I just finished Rebel Witch by Kristen Cirarelli. I don't know how to say her name. Okay, so I didn't miss a book this month other than Rebel Witch by Kristen Cirarelli. I don't know how to say her name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, The Crimson Moth book 2. I just finished it yesterday, the day before. I gave it 3.5 stars. It is a total of 458 pages, and I actually read it audiobook. So this is the only audiobook actually that I finished during the month of March, which is so much unlike me. This book was okay. First half of the book, I was over it. Let's fast forward, let's get to the good stuff. Second half of the book was fun. The adventure came, the romance came, all of that. I just wish the first half wasn't so long, where it took us a long time to get to not just the romance, because really I'm a romance girly at heart. I'm here for the romance. I am. But to get to the adventure of the book, I wish that we would have gotten to it faster. Like, why did it take us so long to get there? And then the things that she like, I said this in like, I was like recording a vlog and I was kind of talking about it, and like, there were moments in the book where she's literally in a dire straight situation. Like, she's about to be captured. And she, as in the main female character, the Crimson Moth, she's about to be captured, and she's having thoughts about Gideon and how he hates her and how she disgusts him. And like, ma'am, someone's about to kill you. Why are you thinking about freaking Gideon right now? I don't. Obviously, this is upsetting to me. However, overall, like, the ending of the book honestly saved the book for me. I knew we were going to get to something exciting. I knew it was going to get there. I just had to get there. So the second half of the book was much better. And I feel like you can feel the turning point. Like, it was bad. It was pretty bad. And I looked at the, my tracking and like, the audiobook percentage. And I'm pretty sure I was at like either 52 or 45%, between 45 and 52%, you can feel the shift of the book. And when Kristen Cirelli, I think that's how you say it, when she like ramped it up. And I was just like, okay, sure. We had to go through 40% of the book to just get here. And that's upsetting to me, but whatever. I enjoyed the book. If you like the first book, the second book is not the same. It's not going to feel the same, but you will like the ending. You will like how it ended and the things that you find out. There was a point where I completely guessed what was about to happen next, and then it happened to literally in the next chapter. However, it wasn't a bad reveal. Like, I feel like sometimes when you can guess what happens next and it's like so sickeningly obvious, that's not fun. But when it's just like, oh my gosh, I think this is what it is, and then it happens and you're happy that that's what the result is, that's what happened. So that was pretty good. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, second book in a series, so I can't go into great detail. But if you liked the first book, I think it's worth reading the second book. It's just not as good in my opinion. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'm going to prioritize reading physically this month. I think I'm going to do a challenge where I not watch YouTube, pretty much. I can't even say like, oh, swap my phone time, because really I spend all my phone time watching YouTube, not really on social media. I already think I am going to do a social media detox for the month of April, because of some stuff that I went through in my personal life. If you want to know about that, you can see that in my monthly reset video. But I think I'm going to do a complete detox of social media. So I really been wanting to do it. It's been coming up in my mind, like to the point where I like delete. It's really an Instagram detox. It's not even like a big deal. It's Instagram and Facebook. I want to delete them off my phone. So, but I don't think I need to delete them. I just think I need to turn off the notifications and not get on there. So, and I'm going to read more. So that's going to be me catching up. I'm gonna catch up. My goal, I'm going to catch up. I hope you enjoyed this video, me yapping about books. Just yapping about the books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.